stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
But the choice between the blue and the red pill is not really a choice between illusion and reality. Of course, Matrix is a machine for fictions, but these are fictions which already structure our reality. If you take away from our reality the symbolic fictions that regulate it, you lose reality itself. I want a third pill.
What's going on? What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy GXG, back at it again with another political black pill stream. Oh yeah, this ain't done. This project ain't over and done with or dead with. Just, you gotta do Facebook, and I believe those are the four. Yeah, we haven't really syndicated it that much, but we will. We'll reach out more to the different broadcasting websites or whatnot, maybe a little bit of TikTok here and there, but who knows, right? Who knows what's in store? And we got a doozy of a chapter today. Today's chapter would be the disturbing truths about monarchies. Yes, that's correct. The disturbing truth about monarchies. So you may ask yourself this, right? So, what is the political black pill? Why call it that? Are you trying to disturb the very fabric of the disruptive duopoly that we sit here and worship in America? And why don't you talk about Twitch drama and all the other stuff, drama around entertainment? Well, the people asked for it, and I obliged to do so, that I'm going to be doing news and politics. I'm going to have fun with that. I'm going to try to see if I can educate myself and you guys on the different and various topics that, we really get a chance to talk about right now in the political zeitgeist per se. And if you this is also an interactive podcast or show, whatever you want to call it. Hey, feel free of doing that as well. All right, you may be asking yourself, so what is the political black pill? Why black pill per se? Well, due to the inevitable outcomes of this socially parasitic, hyper-capitalistic system ruled by the malignant narcissist elite, we have no choice than to be fatalistic when the news and politics development of the world. The political black pill is not a nihilist philosophy. I am redefining it to be more pessimistic because we haven't changed at the speed necessary, and now the planet's fighting back. Check out that chapter. We are optimistic of the select few people out there fighting back and or have the potential to. You see, the current political system and the media pundits, whether independent or mainstream, love it when you bend the knee to the establishment. And we say, don't do it. You're free to vote or not. You're free to be active or not. This is not a philosophy against activism. Unless your activism is to maintain the status quo and or repackaging fascism, then we don't agree. So why the chapters? The chapter is to organize the shows from the various topics being discussed and or revisited. Also, the show's set up to be interactive with you guys. So forgive me from time to time if we go off topic and ramble a bit, or I'm known to be a ranter. The show wasn't designed to be a 24 hours, 7 days a week political griefing soapbox. We discuss all aspects of news and politics, and if this is your type of show, then all I have to say is this: you should pull up your launcher and watch the Car Crash Show with me. It is the Political Black Pill, and I am GXG. Look at that. Look at that. So, now that that's out the way, how's everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic, as I'm doing well myself. And again, just ramping things up, Just ramping things up. Having fun with this, Let's get the show on the road, all right? Let's see what we have today to talk about. So, one thing that we need to talk about, I really don't like that background music. I'm not going to lie. So I like to talk about current events, right? Usually I pull up an article or two or a video or two discussing what's going on in our current affairs. But today seems to be a slow news day. So I decided to take a deep dive in Reddit. Usually I use Twitter because, it's basically short form news for everyone's digestive levels. A lot of people are now enjoying more shorter and shorter form content because, apparently our attention spans are that of gnats now and not longer fruit flies. So, instead of 60 seconds, now people want 15 seconds, and who's to know? Sooner or later, content creators are going to have to find a magical formula to make 5-second content that basically dives into the various topics that they want to discuss. Who knows, right? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyways, so there was a story out, I believe from the Independent, and of course, fair use is invocated in this. So this is about the free kitchen, I believe, in India. So we're gonna start off in a lighter foot, something a little bit more, it's a little bit more lighthearted. Good news per se, things that you don't often hear in the news cycle, right? Because we oftentimes feed off our negativity and negative stories, and I'm also a culprit of feeding you this type of content as well, because it gets clicks and views. That's our goal here, main goal here. Anyways, let's check out this story and react on the fly. I haven't seen any of this content. This is fair use, of course, because YouTube loves to copyright claim a lot of things. So let's see what Insider has to say about this.
Open 24 hours year-round, this food hall feeds 100,000 people for free each day. And on religious holidays, that number can double. Just one of these huge bowls is enough to feed around 10,000 people. We visited Amritsar in India to find out everything that goes into feeding such a large crowd and to see just what it takes to make such big batches.
Isn't that crazy? Something we were unable to do. Well, I think we are able to do in this monolithically rich country, this gigantic behemoth of wealth that's basically accumulated in this country. But I don't see these types of projects going on around. Maybe I'm blind to the types of that. Maybe I'm biased and I need to start looking out for more positive stories to talk about, right? Happy Thursday, all.
Armandir Sahib, often referred to as the Golden Temple, is the largest Sikh shrine in the world. But despite being part of the holy site, this kitchen doesn't discriminate. The food is completely free to anyone, regardless of religion, gender, or ethnicity.
One thing I need to look into as well, and of course I have to pause it for fair use and for this to be transformative. I can't stop reiterating that. I really can't. But food is like the main necessity that we need to survive. But oftentimes, when you're trying to figure out how you're going to survive on this planet, food is more than not often number one next to shelter. And I really need to see, because I'm hearing arguments around the political discourse of this basic necessity of food needs to be absolutely free for almost every living human being on the planet. It's almost barbaric how we allow famine to ravage through countries that should otherwise not even live in an abundance of food, but enough to ration enough to people for them to survive, right? So that's a crazy thing. I need to look more into that. There's arguments against it, but I don't know. I'm more of a I have more of a collectivist mindset when it comes to basic necessities that human beings need to survive.
ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਬਾਹਰ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੰਗਰ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਲੰਗਰ ਜੀ ਵਿਖੇ 24 ਘੰਟੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ 24
free food is available 24 hours a day. Are there food banks that stay open that late here in America? Oh, not that I know of.
ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਇਸੇ
Devotees come to the world, come here in the hope that they will get food here.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਲੰਗਰ ਵਿਖੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਤ੍ਰਿਪਤ ਕਰਦਾ
It's a sense of immense gratification. That looks good too. I love Indian. I love Indian food, by the way. I am a huge lover of Indian food.
Langar have been popular across South Asia since the birth of Sikhism, and the langar at the Golden Temple has been serving meals since 1577. Each dish is cooked in giant metal vats. Over 100 gas cylinders and huge piles of wood are burned through every day to keep things running 24/7. And there's only one short 30-minute break in the cooking from 4:30 to 5 a.m.
An hour, not bad. Now this says 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. then then that's a long ass time.
Thousands of vegetables have to be peeled and prepared by volunteers before they're taken to be cooked. And while the menu can vary depending on availability or the donated vegetables that the kitchen may receive, it is always vegetarian. But
All day, every day?
keeping this many people fed takes a lot of ingredients.
ਦਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਟੋਟਲ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ਾਨਾ 15 ਤੋਂ 20 ਕੁਇੰਟਲ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰਾਂ 3 ਤੋਂ 4 ਕੁਇੰਟਲ ਇੱਕ ਕੜਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ 3 ਤੋਂ 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਬਣਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ।
If you've never heard the term quintal before, it's 100 kilograms. So that's a total of 2,000 kilos or 2 tons of dal per day.
Wow. That's a lot of food, man. Holy hell.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੰਗਰ ਵਿਖੇ ਜੋ ਦਾਲ ਸਬਜ਼ੀ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, ਬੜੀ ਸੁੱਚਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ। 1 ਕੁਇੰਟਲ ਦਾਲ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਤੇ 4 ਕੁਇੰਟਲ ਪਾਣੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ। 25 ਕਿਲੋ ਪਿਆਜ਼, 10 ਕਿਲੋ ਦੇਸੀ ਘਿਓ, 4 ਕਿਲੋ ਮਿਰਚ, 4 ਕਿਲੋ ਮਸਾਲਾ, 4 ਕਿਲੋ ਹਰੀ ਮਿਰਚ, 1.5 ਕਿਲੋ ਹਲਦੀ ਤੇ 5 ਕਿਲੋ ਤੇਲ ਸਰੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ।
That's over 375 kilos of onions and 100 kilos of spices. Every
The
20
world would be a way better place. It would be a way better place if this practice was, implemented in most regions of this planet.
24 hours just for the dal. To make it, chana dal or split chickpeas and urad dal or black lentils are mixed together and repeatedly washed. They're then moved into even larger vats and mixed with the onions, spices, salt, and ghee, a clarified butter, and cooked together. The kitchen spends over $5,000 a day on ghee alone. And it's not just the dal. Each day, the kitchen offers the lentils, a vegetable dish, bread, kheer, rice, pickle, water, and tea. Kheer is a sweet pudding made of rice, milk, sugar, and almonds boiled together. But one of the biggest demands on the kitchen is bread. Unlike the huge vats that can be made in bulk, each chapati needs to be rolled out separately before cooking.
That's so crazy. It means it's fantastic. It's lovely news. I love the type of stuff like that. So good.
Once rolled, each one is hand-coated in ghee to add flavor and keep it from drying out. To keep up with demand, the work is split between machines and people cooking by hand. Producing the bread alone takes 10 tons of flour a day.
ਇਹ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 5 ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਨੇ 4 ਤੋਂ 5000 ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ 1 ਘੰਟੇ 'ਚ ਕੱਢ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਆ। ਜੋ ਵੱਡੀ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਹੈ ਉਹ 7 ਤੋਂ 8000 ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ 1 ਘੰਟੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ।
1 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ 15 ਤੋਂ 17000 ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੁਲਾਜ਼ਮ ਵੀ ਰੱਖੇ।
So what's going on here is basically this is the world's largest free food bank, I think. Sikh Golden Temple in India feeds 50,000 to 100,000 people daily for free, regardless of religion, caste, or social status. So a bit of a positive news before I go into like the more gruesome stuff.
ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਵਲੰਟੀਅਰ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਲੋਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਚੱਲਦੀਆਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਤੇ 11 ਤੋਂ 12
Hope you're doing well.
1 ਘੰਟੇ 'ਚ ਪੱਕਦਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਲੋਹਾਂ ਉਤੋਂ 6000 ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ 1 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ।
And to keep this operation running smoothly, it takes a lot of volunteers.
ਸਾਡੇ ਪਾਸ ਲੰਗਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪੱਕੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ 300 ਤੋਂ 350 ਮੁਲਾਜ਼ਮ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ।
My mouth is watering. My mouth is watering. God, I love Indian food so much. It's so good. So good.
ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਰੁਟੀਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ।
This selfless service is an important part of Sikhism. Sevadars, or religious volunteers, are key to keeping this operation running daily.
Here, take your plate.
Peeling
Here, take your
chopping
plate. Here, take your
vegetables,
plate.
Even donating food to serving and cleaning, almost everything is volunteer run.
Sikh is a very special place in my heart. Yeah, me too.
ਉੱਪਰ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਦੀ ਆ। ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਥਾਲੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਬਾਹਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੌਜੀਆਂ ਬਣਾਈਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਸੈਪਰੇਟ, ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ।
Yeah, fantastic, man. I can't. And I'm gonna stop it here because I don't want to get. I might get hit with a copyright claim, but what can you do, right? It's YouTube. YouTube would do that to you. YouTube do that to your boy. There was a little piece of lint on my hat. Oh, it becomes more pronounced the more I scratch at it. Like dog fur, right? That's definitely Enzo. That's definitely Enzo. There we go. Wonder if I can lower it a little bit more. Can I do 1%? Nope. 4%. Perfect. Yeah. So that's the most positive moves that we're gonna hear today. The rest of the content that you're gonna hear, hey, I appreciate the follow. How's it going? The rest of the content, we're gonna get a bit more darker. We're gonna go to the more crueler aspect, historically, currently, and maybe some figures that you've already known in your educational upbringing. But my main goal here, especially for this chapter, is for you to recognize a particular theme. And once I sum up the chapter, maybe the thing will become more apparent. But at the end of it, I'll sum it up and explain why. Of course. We're more in the chill segment today before, so we're gonna warm up. I only had one positive news story today. It's kind of dry today, news wise. It's probably because there's a big football game going on, right? Independence for the British. I did not know that. Appreciate you sharing that information. See, learn something new every day. I like most streamers. This is more education. I'm more of an educational streamer. I'm more like, let's learn some facts. Let's dive into some truths. Let's dive into some falsehoods. Let's dive into some conspiracy. Or I could go back to being a React Tyrone. I don't like to call myself Andy because you see the skin, right? But one day I might be like, surprise, motherfucker, and we'll do some we'll do some React type stuff, but it won't be a chapter. Just be a normal stream. This is water, by the way. God, I wish it was vodka though. Oof. Delicious. Anything out there in the ether that we should be privy to before I get started? Because I'm gonna get on a roll. Here. Look, I'm not gonna take up too much of people's times when they rewatch this on YouTube. No, nothing.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Let's arrange some stuff here. Yeah, I probably should keep your links for the show. All right. What's the first thing we talk about here? What do we have lined up here? Let me just go back to my notes real quick. The ball rolling correctly. All right. So, before we get into most of the main points, there's something that we must understand. There's something that we must learn, right? And what are monarchies, right? Well, oftentimes when we think of monarchies, the definition of monarchies, we think of an absolute ruler. Well, this is just one aspect of a monarchy. There's actually two that I'm going to emphasize today, because most people don't even know that this exists and that monarchy actually takes many different forms. So one of the forms that monarchy takes is a constitutional monarchy. And a constitutional monarchy is a form of monarchy in which the monarchs exercise their authorities in accordance with the Constitution and not alone in their decision making. So this is more of a fracture type monarchy, right? Where the rulers are just figureheads, right? They have massive decision making abilities, but that is but the stranglehold of their constitutions disallowed it to be an absolute monarchy. And what we see and what we think about most of the times are absolute monarchies. So what are absolute monarchies? Well, an absolute monarchy is a form of government when a single person holds absolute powers, usually a king or queen who has absolute autocratic rule. Autocratic rule means they have basically all the decision making. They have the ultimate authority in every aspect of their government, unlike a constitutional monarchy where most of the power it's presided within the parliamentary system, the prime ministers, yada yada yada. But that's not to say that the king and queen does not have massive influence in those decision makings and a lot of things going on behind closed doors. No, it just means that we have much more theater to present to you. You get what I'm saying? I haven't seen the Herschel Walker talk yet, but I definitely go check that out. I I definitely gotta check. Yeah, definitely gotta check that out. I know there was a debate that's going on. Also, the Anna Kasparian debate versus Dennis Prager. I was might do like a short react to that, and get things rolling there. More of like red meat to everybody, right? So we know the different forms of the two different forms that are basically more present when it comes to monarchies in this country, right? But why must you know the difference? Because most people don't, right? As always, most educational institutions have failed us to understand the very same kingdoms, understand that the very same kingdoms that ruled us over before the Revolutionary War, basically our education system failed us, right? We haven't really learned about the true structures of monarchies. What do they mean? The ever so vast histories of monarchies around our country, our world, right? Do you know that there's still monarchies to this day? Did you know that Japan has one? Do you know it was Scandinavia? Was it Scandinavia? Parts of Africa? Did you know that Denmark also had one? Grenada, Jamaica, Luxembourg, Malaysia, New Zealand, Norway? Yes, these same people still have a monarchical structure system, right? Spain, the Somali Islands, Thailand. Did you know that? Of course we know about the Middle East. Of course we gotta focus a little bit more about what's going on in the UK, but these are often other places that also have rulers. Well, it's mostly the UK mostly holds the lion's share of authority around these countries, but nevertheless, yeah, they're still prevalent to this day. So I say this because our media is basically drunk off the pageantry of royal opulence, right? Then to teach us the horrors of the monarchical government. God rest the queen, but all hail the queen, but fuck the people who decide to let this finesse keep going. Right? What I mean by that is basically we live in this current society in which we don't know what these people really do behind closed doors, right? When you think about it, when it comes to the royal family, I've said this before, and I'll reiterate this. I said it in a previous chapter, and I reiterate this. Information it's a narrow funnel when it comes to basically the monarchical rule, when it comes to news and information being pushed out to the masses, right? They have a huge influence, but they just want to show you all the smoke and mirrors. They want to show you the show, right? They want to show basically a strength that's ever so present in their system, right? But it's all a fabrication. Most of the time it is, right? Because the people who allow this to keep going and for this to be ongoing century after century after century, who are continuing to get robbed blind, are going to face a lot of consequences to their because they uphold this charade, basically. Right? Sweden has a monarchy. Scandinavia is like the cultural area. That's true. Yeah. So why do I state this? Right? Recently, Queen Elizabeth II passed away. Right? And you're gonna hear a whole host of different takes, and against, for. You're gonna see people crying in front of her grave, like she actually had any influence in their lives, right? So, what do I mean? Well, there was an article that was rotating around about what happened to food banks, what happened to hospitals during her funeral, and let's check it out. What happened? What happened, right? Several food banks, and this is being reported by The Independent, so take that as you will. Several food banks in the UK will remain closed on the day of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II on the 19th of September, in a move that has triggered anger among some. You see, right? All these privileges for me, but not for thee, right? And because that's all you are, is the peasantry. Hey! You like that? Yeah, that's all.
Knowledge.
That's all that right there, baby. The announcement of the closure of food banks comes as thousands of hospital appointments, funerals, museums, supermarkets, and theater performances have been canceled for Monday amid the increase in inflation and high costs. The Stoke-on-Trent Food Bank was among the first on Tuesday to announce the decision to close its 3 distribution centers. Branches in East Elmbridge, East locations. Okay, these locations. The decision comes as the government announced today will be an official bank holiday to allow the people across Britain to pay respects to the Queen when she received a full state funeral in honor of her lifetime of service. So just because the Queen has passed away, just because of these monarchies need this vast amount of attention, doesn't mean that you need to stop all of the functions of society, especially among the poorest of society, just because you want to showboat your $1 billion funeral, right? Your £1 billion funeral, I guess. It's unnecessary. Just let the people go on for what they need to go about their day. People still need food. People still need water. People still need the hospitals, of course. The sick still needs to be treated. The sick needs to be treated, and people need to be entertained, right? That's an ongoing thing. That's never going to stop. But for everything to stop dead in its tracks just for a funeral, it's insane. We don't even do that in America. We don't. So just think about it. Just think about that huge failure. All right, why would you do this? There's no point in the matter. But an ongoing thing that's going to be reoccurring in this chapter is how the people are treated during a monarchical system. Let's not say that we're not treated bad, and today is our own government structure, but you get the gist of it, right? All right, let's continue on. So let's talk about how does the crown, let's see. Let's talk about theft. All right? There was two forms of thefts that the crown participates in to accumulate the vast amount of wealth that they do. One sort of structure is a structure we all know today. It's real estate, right? How the crown estate works. So basically, what this graph shows you, what I'm going to show you, the crown owns the crown estates, which makes profits that pays into the treasury, which calculates 15 to 20% assets that goes into the sovereign grant, which pays the monarchy, right? So they're just landowners. This is just the basic bare bones method that could be discussed. So, besides the other complex ways that they actually make money off the taxpayers themselves, this is just, they're landowners. They own the land, right? They own the royalty, so you have to pay into the royalty. And I don't know how to think about it. I wonder if they pay the land, basically you're paying royalty, you're paying your landlord, you're paying utilities, you're just being robbed blind of your labor. It's all theft. Yes, this is for the UK. It's theft. It's literally theft. You're working bare bones to people who basically bring you no sort of value whatsoever, right? None whatsoever. And I would like to see an argument against the contrary. I really do, right? We've seen what they do when basically they have to showboat some sort of pageantry. They'll shut down their entire country for that. So, like I said, I would like to see an argument to the contrary. But it is what it is, right? Let's see. Now, let's talk about theft now, right? In this article here are the most 9 valuable things that the British stole from India and other countries, right? I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but or read every single thing about it. But let's just highlight some things that maybe pop out to us. Kai at number 1. So the 105.6 metric carat diamond weighing at 21.6 grams, Kai belonged to the peacock throne of the Mongol emperors that was mined in Coal Mine. In the present state of the Andhra Pradesh, it was originally 793 carats when uncut. Diamond experts around the world named it the Mountain of Light. In 1849, the British formed the East Indian Company in India. It was handed over to Queen Victoria. In 1852, Queen Victoria reshaped the Koh-i-Noor diamond and wore it quite often on several occasions. It is currently placed in a jewel house in the Tower of London. Koh-i-Noor is one of the oldest and most famous diamonds in the world, and it was kept by the Mongol emperors. And they're talking about the large diamond here, all right? The ring at Tipu Sultan, the wine cup of Shah Jahan, the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is a basket rock, basically gives dimension, by Pharaoh Baltumi of Granite. Dates back to 196 BC. in 3 different Egyptian languages. Napoleon Bonaparte obtained this inscription from Egypt, which was acquired by the British after the defeat of the French army in the early 1800s. During the following decades, Egyptian officials asked Britain to return the Rosetta Stone, but did not succeed. Therefore, being brought to England, oh my God. Ooh. The Rosetta Stone has been kept and displayed at the British Museum in London. And basically, this is just the ongoing recurring theme. Either it was gifted, asked to return, or stolen, asked to return, and they won't do so. The Seeds of Haven, and this is the seeds basically that's very this is a wicked story here. Seeds of Haven, Resalius. I'm terrible with Portuguese, okay? Henry Wickman, a British explorer and plant thief, stole 70,000 seeds from the rubber-bearing tree, which can be weighed up to 140 feet. What is it? I cannot say that word. On HB, in the area of Brazil, to the Royal Botanic Gardens, Botanical Gardens in Kew, London, in 1875. This marked the end of Amazon's rubber boom and a great economic time for Brazil. The man earned a nickname, the Bio Pirate, in a South American country. Of course, reaping the benefits, robbing the people blind. Being bronze. The Ethiopian manuscripts. After defeating the Ethiopian Emperor Theodorus II, the Battle of Magdala, in 1869, the British adopted scriptures that were primarily a cause of war to bring the manuscripts back to Ethiopia. As association called the Association for the Return of the Magdala Ethiopian Treasures was formed, however, nothing good came of it. This is an exhibition. This exhibition will display in 12 Ethiopian religious manuscripts collected by the British Library, showing paintings of front art and religious traditions and the Twayano Church in Ethiopia. Now, there's multiple other things. The marbles were stolen as well. But here's the one thing, right? And this is just basically just concentrating more on the monarchy of I don't know, Great Britain, the UK. I don't know what to call you guys anymore. But it's not to say that other monarchies around the world haven't had stolen goods, basically being put up on display for their countries to boast their power and their prowess, right? The culture of the royal family and its course of action is a culture of theft from the poor, desolate people of color. The British monarchy is called the royal family. I'd rather keep my money than contribute to the culture of old lady with corgis. I like the corgis though. I love the corgis. The corgis have no blame in things, okay? They're cute, adorable little doggies with tiny little legs. Anyways, returning back to that. So we kind of understand this. We know, like, yeah, a lot of these monarchies, a lot of these royal families love to steal. That's all they do is steal. So what I'm gonna do is something that I don't normally do. What I'm gonna do is gonna show a series of pictures, and I'm gonna read the history behind these pictures and the cruel treatment of the people historically, of historical emperors, kings, and queens. All right, so this is how it's gonna handle. I'm gonna show you this picture. All right, I'm gonna zoom in on the picture, and I'm gonna read some facts about this. Okay, so who is this person? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Who is this person? No idea, huh? No idea, huh? I bet not. You bet not. Do you know who you're talking about? All right. So, this is Ravaloa I, and is frequently called the Mad Monarch of Madagascar, described as a proud and cruel woman by Australian explorers. And unlike other monarchs, Ravaloa was born into a very humble surrounding. The daughter of a commoner, Ravaloa's family fell into good graces of the royal house of Madagascar when her father warned King Adriana. I don't know how to say this. King Adrian, I'm gonna say, of an assassination plot. In return of such kindness and loyalty, the king adopted Ravaloa as his own daughter. Ravaloa cemented her access to the throne by marrying Prince Ramadan. As queen, Ravaloa I targeted Christian communities of Madagascar, forcing many natives and foreign Christians to flee the island. In Madagascar, in 1845, she demanded that 50,000 members of the royal court go on a buffalo hunt. In 4 months, approximately 10,000 people died while on the hunt. Some sources even said that the Queen Ravaloa killed as much as 75% of Madagascar's entire population. Homegirl is hitting straight Genghis Khan numbers, okay? Straight Genghis Khan numbers. She knew what she was doing. So now you know about Queen Ravaloa. Isn't that crazy? Let's move on to this next person. And this person's picture you've probably seen all over the internet. Yeah, you probably learned about him in the history books. And for reference, I'm reading the riches.com article, about one of the cruelest, most evil monarchs in history. Now this is Prince Vlad Dracula, right? Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler was known to basically impale his victims, right? But there's I think ass first, right? So this is a little brief synopsis of him, right? Vlad Vlad gathered a whole bunch of nobles and merchants who were ethnically German, and they hated Vlad for his populism, right? At one point, Vlad killed hundreds of nobles who he suspected of subterfuge. In that, Vlad invited several boyards to his capital in Travoxistate, there for the crimes of being disloyal to his father. Vlad had them all arrested and forced to undertake a grueling 55-mile walk, which most people could probably do right now, right? But they probably were starved, beaten, tossed stone. Once these royal people reached their destination, Vlad impaled all their nobles, right? This is basically his common theme, right? We heard about Vlad and Impaler, right? Impaling was one of his favorite methods of executions. Nobles, criminals, and Turkish prisoners had the grease ends of wooden stakes shut up their asses, right? That's what I said. They go assholes first. The victims would then slowly slide down the stake until most of their vital organs have been pierced. Imagine that type of death. Oof, I'm probably gonna get hit with a age restriction for that description. But yeah, you heard about Vlad, right? Cracking 90s on your own people. So yeah, pretty cool guy, right? We've all heard about Vlad the Impaler, right? So imagine that type of death. I wish I could pull up a picture and not be knocked off every single platform that I'm trying to grow in. But excuse me, imagine that type of death. You're propped up and they grease the end. Oh God, you guys have probably already done this in the bedroom. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It was terrible. All right, let's move on to the next person. If I can find it. The next person. All right. So this one is a picture of a bull. Now let's do the description of the bull. Why do I have a bull up here, right? And this is about Phalaris. So I'm going to read the exact thing from the article. Phalaris was a Greek tyrant of the city-state of Argagas in Sicily. His reign is believed to have lasted between 570 and 554 BC. In that time, Phalaris was known as a cruel ruler who used his wealth of his city to look for new ways of executing criminals. According to legend, a Greek inventor named Philoris of Athens promised Phalaris an entirely new method of torture called the brazen bull. This horrific contraption involved placing a person inside the bronze bull. Yeah, enter here. Even before they're forced into the bull statue, the victims have their tongues cut and their hands bound. Once inside, a fire was lit underneath the bull's belly. Right before death, the victims would thrash around and make terrible moaning sounds that made the bull appear alive. In the cruelest twist, Phalaris first used a brazen bull on Philoris first, thus guaranteeing that the horrendous device worked. So the guy who created this contraption of torture was basically the beta tester, right? This is how fucking deviant this person was. Valerius was. So, you go to your local museum, you see this bull's up. Guess who taught you about this? The forbidden soup. That's disgusting, right? Imagine being shoved up in there. I'm guessing you go in asshole first, right? As always. It's like it's a thing that the emperors loved. Always asshole first. Anyways. It's as always, right? All right. Now this one, some of you may know, but there's a distinct reason why I chose Ivan the Terrible. Question, music or no music? Does it sound more fun with music in the background? Is it more like more engaging, or with music good? Okay. Music good, your voice bad. Gotcha. All right. Now, let's talk about Ivan. Ivan the Terrible killed tens of thousands and beat his pregnant daughter-in-law. Ivan the Terrible was a ruthless monarch who ended his life as a ravaging lunatic. For Russia, Ivan IV actually provided several benefits, most notably land. Under his command, Muscovite armies conquered the Muslim Khanate and Kazan and Khanati, and I cannot say these words. Russian soldiers and other settlers pushed deeper into Siberia, thus making Moscow the center of the new Eurasian Empire. Big history in that. Now you know why Moscow has some of its importance to this day. In the royal court, however, Ivan IV was nothing less than an absolute terror. At one point, enraged Ivan murdered his own son and heir. In Moscow, it is surrounded by visions of Ivan IV using dreaded Operniktik, or secret police, to squash dissidents. Doesn't that sound kind of familiar today? In 1570, Operniktik troops arrived in the Russian city of Novgorod. My Russian is terrible, okay? In order to stop the possible handover of the city to the Polish king. Ivan IV's men razed the entire city and may have killed as many as 30,000 people. Now, in 1570, 30,000 people is a shit ton. Ivan IV cemented his power by murdering and disposing boyar families, basically noble families. Ivan IV also blinded the architect of St. Basil's Cathedral and beat his pregnant daughter-in-law until she had a miscarriage. This dude is the worst of the fucking worst. A worst of the fucking world, bruh. The worst. But you probably heard of Ivan. But did you know what he did to his pregnant stepsister? Who's worse? Valerius or Ivan? It's not really ranked. These are all terrible monarchs. I'm just going back and just basically showing you what are these monarchs capable of getting away with, right? What are they capable of getting away with? The thing is, a reoccurring theme is the people suffer, right? And the monarchs face they may face backlash, but not to the degree as they would today if they, participated in these crimes against humanity. So, who are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at my notes. Emperor Caligula, a deviant pervert who forced parents to watch executions of their children. History remembers this emperor as a bloodthirsty tyrant and a sex deviant. Caligula only controlled the Roman Empire for 4 years before his own guards assassinated him. While it's highly likely Roman historians smear Caligula because of his mental illness and various attacks on Rome's nobility and senate, it may be true that Caligula had sexual relations with his 3 sisters. Oh my God.
Holy Jesus.
Caligula's possible perversion later manifested themselves to a very strange behavior. He is known to have conversations with the moon.
Oh, Jesus.
Made his horse an official consul.
Oh, Jesus.
And oversaw arbitrary executions of Roman citizens. Besides being insane, Caligula was known for his dedication to pleasure and opulence. Two of his pleasure barges were unearthed in Lake Nemi during the 20th century. For a time, Caligula was a popular Roman leader who abolished unfair taxes and released the political prisoners of the former emperor. However, after suffering a life-threatening illness that left him with chronic headaches, Caligula began holding public executions, including ones where parents were forced to watch the murder of their children. Caligula's greatest crime was his dedication that he was nothing less than a god to come to earth. This is what happens when the leader of the insane asylum decides to rule. If God chose your family, everything you can do is an act of God on earth. You can get with anything. Exactly. And this is Emperor Caligula? Look, you're learning things. I put education on the tags for a reason. That's basically what it is, right? All right. And now, we're going to get to the guy. The guy? Yeah, the guy. We know this man. All right. Genghis Khan, who is said to be responsible for the deaths of over 40 million people. All right. 40 million people.
You are fake news.
That's the wrong button. Remember, the political chapters is for
Knowledge.
okay? We can sit here and speculate about current news and affairs and have fun with what's going on, but some things you just need to understand and learn. And that's what I'm here to do. Hopefully. Right? And as more chapters progress, I'll get better and better at this, all right? So Genghis Khan is the greatest military conqueror the world has ever known. His small band of warriors from the remote and backwards nation of Mongolia defeated the more advanced armies of China, India, Russia, and Eastern Europe. He later died in 1227. He left behind the largest contagious empire in recorded history. It is today believed that Genghis' conquest killed as many as 40 million people. China alone lost tens of millions of people due to the savagery of Genghis' armies. In 1258, a Mongol army with several Chinese and Christian allies laid siege to the city of Baghdad. The Mongols not only killed 50,000 soldiers, but they also killed as many as 2 million civilians. Besides being the destroyer of entire civilization, Genghis Khan's conquest may have helped spread the bubonic plague across Asia and Europe, thus killing 75 to 200 million people.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Not only is Genghis Khan known for this as well, he was known as a serial assaulter. If you were to test your DNA, you may have basically Genghis Khan DNA in you. Think about it. You're related to this motherfucker. He might be your far, far distant tentuple. I don't even know that's a number or whatever. Father, great grandfather. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You might be related to him. Those are the rulers. That's what they did to their people. Those were monarchs. And can you believe some people actually want to reinstitute monarchies? They think it's a greater deal. They think it's a net benefit to the society and government. There's monarchists out there. But we're sitting here, fighting over fascism and socialism and communism and whatnot. There's motherfuckers who are still monarchist. They believe that the country should be basically ruled by an absolute dictator. What sense that makes? I don't know. Be my guess, right? All right. So when we look at the past of most of these evil monarchies, evil rulers, do you think that they were like good rulers? Can you even fathom that? Especially the untold amount of power that they wield. Remember, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. we know that there was a long history of incest. This is another thing that you think about when you hear about monarchies. So speaking of incest, let's look at succession a bit. So how do these monarchs basically grab power? Right? So succession is different from in many different countries, right? In Europe, it's like a system-based thing, right? Like it's kind of like what was it, primogeniture, whatever it's called? I forgot the word, how to say it correctly. Well, basically, the firstborn son or daughter inherits the throne. However, in very homogenous continents where the royal family are related by blood ties, the law of succession are still different from nation to nation, right? Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth II is one example of this, right? They could not reign by the French system or whatnot, but they because the French monarchies applied a Salic law, which is basically a main tenet in its principles of excluding women from their inheritance of thrones, right? And there's many different ways and many different rules of succession. So we're gonna look at some charts, of course. We're always looking at charts of how the succession history of certain monarchies. And with that, let's start with the Middle East. I found this fascinating because these monarchies and rulers rule to this day. We're going to see how far back it goes, right? Now, and this is just the overall succession chart of the current the succession line in the Middle East. Isn't it crazy? Just think about this, right? More patriarchal, more males inheriting the throne, and it's the common thing about it. It's a patriarchal system. Most monarchies are, right? And from time to time, like Britain, for an example, a monarchy, a matriarchy rules, but they still are absolute rulers. They still are gonna commit atrocities to your citizenry and rob the peasantry blind. Bear with me here. So that's just a little snapshot, and this is the current succession line in Saudi Arabia. I think it's a better picture. I don't know how to say any of these names, okay? I really don't. No, it was never preferred. You're absolutely right. And it's just, the succession system just showing you, just showing you what's going on, who may be the absolute ruler, and who's coming on out of the line. I don't have enough time to go over most of the monarchical system in the Middle East, but just gotta know, Saudi Arabia's succession right now. You should have, there should be familiar faces here. Mohammed bin Nahif, Khalid al-Fashish, and the crown prince Mohammed bin Salman. And the thing is, this is also a competition. It's competition of who's going to reign basically king and ruler of Saudi Arabia. Who's going to inherit the vast amount of wealth that Saudi Arabia creates, right, and dictate the next coming decades of their land. Apologize for that pause. I shouldn't have paused like that. All right, now let's look into Japan. All right, give me a second here. Whew. Japan still has an emperor, and right now the 16-year-old is about to succeed. Kind of the wind down process right here too as well. Not a long chapter. It's just a chapter hitting points, and hopefully we can come to a mutual understanding. Because monarchies is a fun thing to do, but it's more tailored around instead of the live stream structure, it's more tailored around a video format. But it's a political black pill chapter, so we do this live. We do it in one take. You know what I'm saying? Japan's Empress Naruhito, former, took up the post on Wednesday. Blah, blah, blah. It's an old thing. Basically, it's a snippet, a clip that I took. I cropped it out of an article. So, it would just show that, Japan has a long list of emperors and they haven't given it up. They have one to this day. I think he was 2016, so he's probably up there in age by now. Yeah, it's 2022. He's definitely up there in age right now, right? Probably has a TikTok. Probably watching this the show. Like, what the hell are you talking about me for? This is a long line succession in Japan as well. So I was just showing you, we concentrated a lot on the UK. So I'm showing you the Middle East, and I'm showing you the Far East. So there is that. All right. Here's one fact about the Emperor of China. Are they obliged to pay taxes? And the answer is they're given a personal allowance, and we're talking about Japan here, right? That's granted to them and family members. This is often the case with other monarchies as well. But if there's a succession, unlike British royalty, which you get exempt, Japan's royalty, they have to pay the inheritance and other taxes, right? But former Emperor Hirohito is believed to have paid 428 million yen in taxes after he inherited private assets, such as cash, stocks, bonds, from his former father, worth about 1.8 billion yen. So this, like, oh yeah, they're paying their taxes, the inheritance taxes and whatnot. It's a drop in the bucket to how much money they inherited with these personal financial assets that allow them just to keep living that royal life, having to do nothing but be born into it and just keep on with the same, decrees and structures and traditions that should have been long past, long gone, years, decades, centuries ago. And it's Japan's succession line. Now, we had fun with this chapter. Good, short, and to the point. This is one I wanted to get off the books. Talk about some disturbing truths about monarchies and whatnot. It's crazy. Ooh. Whew. Do I have time? One thing I'm scared about doing the Anna versus Dennis Prager debate is if TYT is going to copyright hit it. So that's a thing, right? Maybe I should. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do. That's just red meat. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm basically not sticking to the points. Okay. So the structure of monarchies is hyper focused on capital, social capital, international relationship dynamics that lead to an ongoing cycle of dark ages where it wasn't really the monarchy that was sacrificed, but the people under it mostly, right? To this day, we still feel the ripple effects of past monarchies, right? They're still studied in our literature and sometimes presented in documentaries and media. The thing is that are we due for this to be? Is a question that I pose. Are we due for having another monarchy reinstituted? But are we doing the same sort of bare bones? Culturally, of course, and I'm not saying this like in a literal sense, but are we doing this culturally when we're trying to like establish dynasties of rulers who are just basically going to inherit so much power that the ramifications of that absolute power being held within certain families, destroying the very fabric of our society and government? Because remember, it's a theme where these people have so much power that they can get away with anything. The vast killings of millions of people around the world, starving their people out, performing terrible rituals. Are we regressing more and more to that type of governmental structure in our society, right? Some can say that our current system right now that's structured is basically almost analogous to a king and queen ruler, right? President system, an executive who sits on top, you know, a parliamentary system that got Congress. Might not be analogous. People say this, right? I'm not saying this myself, but people are saying this. And that basically wraps up chapter 12. Wow, look at that. Simple. Clean, simple to the point. Clean this up a bit more. You know, have more fun in different chapters, different topics. Just wanted to get this one. I like this one. Wanted to get it out the way though. You know? Oh man, last one we went in though. So let me just show you a quick list of the current monarchies. It's still a thing today. And here is the whole list of them. And you know, read it for yourself when you have the chance. Does this change? It doesn't make it any different. Read it for yourself when you have the chance, right? These are all the different countries. And I think I counted about 42 countries who are still ruled over this type of system. Long be the days that we had to get rid of this type of rule. I'm an abolitionist when it comes to monarchy. I can't stand single figures having so much authority over me, right? The authority to basically shut down most of your countries for whatever theater that they're presenting to the people around at large. So let me do this. I'm going to end this chapter on a positive note. I'm going to probably I'm going to stream again on Twitch and Trovo, and I guess the other ones besides YouTube. I'm going to wrap YouTube up. So for those who are watching on YouTube, I'm going to leave you on a positive note as always. Don't be afraid of what life throws at you. You're more than capable of handling it. You yourself are the boulder that stands still against the current. You are more capable than you believe yourself to be. Let positive words encourage your spirit to keep going and fighting on. I know things are looking worse, and it just keeps getting worse day by day. Almost objectively, you could come to that conclusion. But one thing doesn't ever change, right? And will never change, right? And that's your influence, your wonderful, wonderful influence on this planet. You shouldn't be too much into your head. Too much into your head. Don't let these things that influence you get the better of you. Right? Don't feed into it. All right. And when that, excuse me, Biden. It's even Biden messes me up, but I'm not gonna let him get to you. Don't let it get to you. So for those of you who are watching right now live, I'm probably gonna stream on Twitch and Trovo. Just chill out for a bit. I was on YouTube. I'm cutting this bitch out. Okay, cutting this bitch off. And that's the positive note. All right, keep going in there. And as always, I'm GXG. Thanks for watching. Stay classy.
I spend a lot of time, thinking about all the shit I could have done. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I think I could have been the motherfucking president. Shit. Nigga, I wish things had been different. I mean, I'd do anything in the motherfucking world just for things to be different. I guess I'm just gonna be raping niggas' asses